絶対正義の無敵艦隊アクアフォースは私が作り上げた。お前たちの知っているアクアフォースとは格が違う。
What's up, guys? Commander Hammer here, and boy, we got some good stuff. So first off, we got the episode with Leo's actually representing Blue Wave, and boy, it was epic. And so we got reveals, and well, let's get into it. So we got our stride. So it's Blue Wave Martial Dragon, Flood Hazard Dragon. So the first skill it does Counterblast 1, flip a copy, choose 2 cards from your hand and discard them, and you activate it when the battle of your Blue Wave Rearguard attacks, and it's the 4th battle, and you have a Blue Wave Heart. You can stand it, and it does -3 draft checks for the next one. So in a sense, it kind of minuses, but we'll get into that. And the continuous skill, the separate one, is Generation Break 3. It gains strike +1, so quad check, and all of your front row Blue Wave Rearguards get +2k. So once you get to GB3, this actually breaks even, just like Tetra Boil did in the past, which is good. The first skill you can do on first strike, just like how Valeos did in the episode. And you could kill on first strike, technically, because like this is a restanding Vanguard with restanding Rearguards, as we saw like the grade 2 Galeos, I think is his name. Restood 3 times by himself, and so that many attacks could kill somebody on first strike, which is really good for us. This is something that actually Aqua Force needs. So what's worth noting, if you want to do the restanding skill, you're going to be minusing 2 cards. Let's say you went to grade 3 first, and then they show the next turn, and you G-guard it, and then throw this, you would only get the plus drive check on the second attack. So it would be a -1, which is okay. And then once you actually strode, and it's GB3, then you break even. Those minuses can be also kind of like made up for using Brutal Troopers, Dagon Master if you still play him as the Forerunner and all that stuff. So that helps compensate for that. And I think, as we know, there's further support that I think helps with this problem. But it's a really good option. The GB3 skill is really fantastic. It's generic. You can play this in Thalas, Ripples, Maelstrom, whatever Aqua Force. Quad check for free. And this helps in the sense where you can't get to the 4th wave, and you're GB3 at least at this point, giving you a +1. And Aqua Force doesn't really +1s unless you have like resources to begin with, like Saber Flow and Bubble Edge, having the requirement to get to the 4th battle. So this helps a ton. And also, since it's quad check, you get 4 times to check a trigger, which you can stand on a restander to get double the benefit. And this is helpful as well against Lane Choker and even control matchups where you know you can't play around them, whether you can't make it to the 4th wave or your front row Rearguard circles are locked and all that stuff. You have this option. I'm like, I'll just quad check you. If you have a PG, and if you don't have a PG, you have to G guard. And since you're quad check, it's another 5k threshold they have to think about now. It's very good. Let's go into the other ones, and we'll probably come back to this. So the other grade 3 is Blue Wave Dragon, Arsenal Fleet Dragon. And Generation Break 1, Counterblast 1, Blue Wave. When this unit attacks and it gets +4, and if it's the second battle, it stands. So you can pay the skill just to get the +4 if it's not the second battle, but you want to do it on the second battle so you get the benefit. This is nice with a 7k booster. So you're 11 +4 making it 15, then plus with a 7k booster makes you 22. Good numbers. Also helps you get to the 4th wave, which synergizes well with the hazard and the turns and all that stuff. And even with Lambros, actually thinking about it, so you have something to attack, and then you have this guy 2nd wave, 3rd wave, boom, 4th battle for Lambros. I don't know if we're still going to be playing Lambros. Right now I don't even play Lambros, but who knows. So the other skill is a drop zone effect, which is cool. So Blast 1, when you have a Blue Wave Vanguard that stands due to a card effect, so a restanding stride, you pay the cost and you bounce it back to hand. So you get a free card back. It's stride fodder. You can use it to get to the 4th battle next turn, and it helps, negate the minus a bit from the hazard turn if you do it early enough, which is good. Due to the timing, if you discard this card for the hazard dragon, so if you drove check it, right, and you discard it, you should be able to get this timing correctly and actually return this card back to your hand, so it helps you not minus in that turn. Just let you know. So more cards got revealed. They actually showed Valeo's full skills. The one we saw from the show is the Soul Blast one. It's a blue wave card though, so keep that in mind. When you G unit with blue wave and its original card name strikes, you can pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's vanguards. During that turn, it is fixed at 11k. It's not affected by any other this effect except for the Shield of Guardian. So no Gabrielle, no damage check triggers, etc. Shield Guardians still apply, so they're guarding 5Ks or 10Ks, and cards like Solomon do go off because they're giving power to the Guardians. So, but still, that's still a huge help for Aqua Force. One of the weaknesses for Aqua Force, if your opponent is at 4 or less damage, it would suck sometimes when your earlier pokes won't hit, and that means the difference of a card in hand or on field. So having this fixes it so every card you attack with, it's either a card or a damage they have to take, which is very important for this. You're putting down a board for commitment to get the best out of it, And then the other skill, Counterblast 1, when your ride phase begins, pay the cost. If you do, choose one blue wave from your hand, call it a rear guard, and it gets +2. And then if you called one, you draw a card. So this is a free +1 in a sense. But, I mean, it does cost a Counterblast, and blue waves do Counterblast, so it might not be used as often as you think. Unless we get a counter-charging unit that goes well with the deck, then that'd be great. But it's not, none of these skills, well, the strike skill is not GB, but this skill is not GB either. So if the opponent decides to play the grade 2 game for whatever reason, and then it bounces back to your turn, you can get this skill off and do a push, and it gives you a card, which is helpful. It helps you be aggressive and also maintain some advantage when, committed to the board. So the card that was also revealed was Medra, I guess Medra, Blue Wave Water General Medra. This is fantastic. She has resist. Blue Wave finally has a resist unit they can use that synergizes well with the deck. That was one of the problems with Blue Wave. They can't handle with control as effectively as Davos because they can play Melania, they can play Scaros and all that such. But now Blue Wave has access to something that they can use. And what makes it even better, it's a GB1 skill. If you have a Blue Wave Vanguard, it can attack from the back row and it gets +3. So it's an 11k attacker from the back row, that's a grade 2. It's 8k base, kind of sucks, but still. I mean, resist and an 11k from the back row, I think it's well worth it. And this is definitely going to be played, especially if we go to the control meta, where it's going to be heavy control. If you're playing against Link Joker, you're playing against like Kagero and all that stuff, this deals with them a lot easier. So it's big. I'm thinking probably like 2 to 4, depending on your meta, your format, and your meta call. So the grade 1 we saw in the show, Blue Wave Captain Baragios, I guess. 7k. When this unit is placed from rear guard, from hand, you can look the top 7, search for Vallejo, send it to your hand. If you do, choose equal to the number of grade 3 and discard them. So it's like an Abyssal Owl. And then the other skill is when your Blue Wave Vanguard stands, this unit stands. So this is an actual booster that can restand itself and boost again, which is super helpful sometimes when you're trying to make a threshold, especially if your units are not reaching the 11k mark by themselves. This helps at least give it a 7k boost. What's cool is that you can do this behind a Vanguard, and you get to boost the Vanguard twice. Because sometimes they usually either take the first attack or G-guard the first attack, and then they PG the second attack. So those are the things that actually could come up, put more pressure. And it has the Blue Wave name too, and this is a great one for finally we can actually play with confidence. There was the other one that grabs you a grade 3, but I didn't think it was worth it because you could play other cards that helped with other matchups and helped you overall. But with this card, I think he's actually going to be played a good number. 3 or 4 probably is a good number. And they haven't shown it yet, but they had the grade 2 in the show, Galeos, and he can attack 3 times. You Counterblast 1, you discard on attack, it gets 2 skills. First back at the no, it doesn't even do it at the end. When it's the first wave, it restands. So as it's attacking, it restands. It's kind of like the Wise Man thing, where the attack still goes through and it restands already. And this is good because it gets around cards like Borak and Balog. And apparently Kagero got a new grade 2 that does the same thing as Balog. But I think it targets back row. But of that nature, you can get around with that, And then when your Vanguard attacks, and the wiki so far says it's basically on the third wave, I think. You know what? I'm gonna look it up right now. Galeos Vanguard. There we go. Then yeah, this is gonna do a lot. One of the things that once you get later to where Hazard gets free or not free, becomes 0. Yeah, basically you don't lose advantage, and then of course Tetra Boil doesn't lose you advantage. You're actually gonna start plussing with cards like Brutal Chirper and Dagger Master, and if we have other cards, which I'm hoping that triggers like the stand trigger, the draw trigger, and the heal can do something like that, or even the new Forerunner. We can't even tell if it's Counterblast or anything. So what I don't like about Dagger Master is that it counterblasts and it's GB1, and I hope this guy doesn't do any of that cost and does something else for free. Especially given Soul, because Valios needs the specific Soul. And any other cards that Soul Blast, like Damia or Seagull if we still play Seagull. There's a lot of things that are going to change in the deck. And that's very exciting. It's a good thing, you know. Change is good because it means something's better, and then it's like, well, these cards don't work anymore because they're better cards that work together even better. So it's a good thing. So yeah, Galeos. So we'll go on to the Xeroth Dragon. So we saw in the episode you're able to call units from the hand and or drop. They get +5 and it's up to 5, which is fantastic. And the fact that we can call from the drop is super helpful in Aqua Force. Like, we've been needing some superior calling for a while. Not from the hand, but from everywhere else, whether it's deck or drop zone or damage zone, you name it, anywhere. But this helps a lot. And it is Counterblast too, but I mean, if you think you can finish the turn off, then do it, right? And your rear guards get the skill where at the end of the battle they swap. And so you can get 5 rear guard attacks and a vanguard attack, making it 6 attacks for, like, let's say they don't have skills to restand. But once you start adding restanders, it increases the number of attacks, which is crazy. So if your opponent's like at 5, they're going to have to guard everything. Galeos gives you 2 extra attacks on top of that, so that's going to make 8 attacks. And if you have cards like, I guess, Tidal Assault along with that, it gives you an additional attack, assuming that it can hit. And again, if you drive track triggers, you could stack on Tidal, so that way that the second attack, he can actually hit by himself. Because he'll be 14, and then when he restands, he'll be 9 again, so given that trigger, we'll make him at 14 at that second attack. So I think this is boosting Aqua Force in the sense, like, if we don't have shit, we can try this if we can, and boom, field. We could not do that before. Sure, if you don't win that turn, you might lose your G-Zone, and that might hurt you, but if the Blue Wave support isn't GB restricted so far, like Barragios, and I'm hoping Galeos isn't GB restricted, and they just require the grade 3 or greater Blue Wave in the name, then we're still fine. We're still going to dish out a lot of attacks. This is either going to have us cripple our opponent, survive their turn hopefully, come back, and we can use Valios' skill to call something, give it +2, and draw a card, and then go from there. So this is nice. And of course, Bermuda Triangle and Ground Blue get a boost from this, and that's a whole different topic. Some nastiness with Night Rose. But yeah, this is fantastic. But yeah, there's not, other than that, it's just very exciting stuff, and I think with like Hazard Dragon and the new Blue Wave stuff, and having enough Blue Wave units, it's gonna be a very strong deck, and with more to come that we don't know, shit, you know, I can probably take this to an event and feel confident enough to be topping with it. That's all Aqua Force players want to do, and in their heart, you know, because, like, you know, you go to a big event and you're like, if I really want to top, I'm gonna have to take a big deck, the big deck that gets me there, whether it's like Luar, Gears, Night Rose, or whatever meta deck right now, you know, Blade Wings, Battle Sisters and stuff. I want to take Aqua Force. Yeah, there's a reason why I'm a commander, right? But yeah, guys, leave down comments. I like to get discussion going. There's a lot that is to talk about, and there's going to be more support. I'm looking forward to the next episode, seeing hopefully more reveals of skills, and boy, it could only get better, right? And then Tavas hasn't shown up at all, so who knows what we'll be getting for Tavas. And I hope they don't like shaft him, but I hope they do something good for him. So that way, who knows? They made my Tavas great or better than this, but I don't even know. At this rate, I see a lot of blue wave cards, and they're pretty good, and altogether make super strong. So I don't know what they're gonna do with Tavas. That like they're not gonna give him much. They're gonna try to be on par. They're gonna be even broken. I don't know. If it's broken, fuck yeah, right? If it's whatever, I guess it's whatever. I guess we'll shift to blue wave if we want to take it to competitive scene and increase our chances of actually winning. But yeah. So again, comment down below, subscribe, like, and share. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.
絶望の深海に響け死の青き方向総発水流フラッドハザードドラゴンでアタックガリアスの第二の